This episode of the Aging Well podcast features an insightful conversation with Dr. Nayan Patel, a leading expert in anti-aging and skincare. Dr. Patel discusses the factors contributing to skin aging, the role of antioxidants, and the unique benefits of glutathione, particularly through his innovative transdermal delivery system. He also provides practical advice on maintaining youthful skin and shares his thoughts on the future of anti-aging skincare. This episode is a deep dive into the science behind how to keep your skin healthy and vibrant to age well. Dr. Patel, welcome to the Aging Well podcast. Let's begin by having you tell us about yourself and how you became interested in anti-aging, particularly with skincare.
So my journey began as a pharmacist, doing traditional pharmacy, graduated locally from Southern California over here. And, I started early on hoping that I will change the world by providing good medicine. I quickly figured out that the medication is not going to do anything for anybody. We're just managing people's problem. We're not solving any problems. So I said, that's not going to be my calling. So I took a very sharp detour immediately after graduating into longevity and holistic medicine to try to figure out and say, hey, what do people really want? And so that's why my journey began about 27 years ago in a holistic setting. And one thing led to another, and all roads eventually led me to glutathione as a molecule that I need to be working on. And so that's what I started working on. It took me about a good 6-7 years to develop a technology to sequester this glutathione and get it stabilized. And then another 13 more years to do the research, try to figure out what it actually does inside your body. And during this journey, I was talking to a lot of customers, a lot of patients, and helping them come along with me. Long story short, I am a lifelong learner. I'm a researcher, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a husband. I'm trying to do whatever I can be, the best I can be. At the end of the day, I'm here to serve. So that's what we're here for.
That's an interesting turn from pharmaceuticals when you're a pharmacist. I mean, it's very unusual to say, yeah, drugs aren't the answer, and I'm a pharmacist.
It's sad. I'm a pharmacist. If you see me in a pharmacy counting pills, please shoot me. You know, don't think twice. I'm telling you, I'm sure they will give you pardon away. I said, hey, I'm just help a soul out there. So, yeah, my goal has always been to find solutions for my patients. I deal with a lot of clientels. Most of my patients are physicians themselves because they are in such a big need because they're taking care of all their patients and inadvertently they forget to take care of themselves. And so when they come to me, I said, hey, can you please help me figure out what my regimen should be? And I goes, well, let's kick off all the drugs away from your house first and then we'll begin. So dealing with physicians has brought a whole new twist to this whole thing. And when you asked me earlier about skincare was a byproduct because the technology was so good that, hey, you know what? I can help a lot of people internally. But then I looked at the whole skincare industry. If I make any product that actually does anything good for your skin, you cannot use it. You just cannot use it. So I said, well, that's kind of a bummer. What are we doing here? As a solution oriented person, I said, I'm looking for solutions. I'm not looking for master problems. And so my journey began on the skincare. I said, you know what? I'm going to change. I'm going to have a paradigm shift in the skincare industry and give people something that they can hang their hat on. And so that's what we created just based on one molecule, one technology. I created the simplest routine I can come up with. I try to help my patients make life simple because what they don't have today is time. If you give them 10 different things to do before they go to sleep, they're going to spend half an hour on a skin routine that doesn't do anything for them.
What are the primary factors that contribute to skin aging and both the intrinsic and the extrinsic sides of that?
The number one issue that nobody wants to deal with is oxidative stress. That's the elephant in the room. Everybody sees it, or maybe they don't even see it anymore because nobody has given them a solution to deal with it. The body deals with it naturally with or without your help. The body is always trying to deal with it anyways. So oxidative stress is, we always think about it and say, hey, where is it there? The highest amount is in your brain. So the brain has to be functioning at all times. So the body sends all the troops to the brain and says, hey, let's reduce oxidative stress in your brain down so that way your body can function. The second part is in your liver. And so the body sends the rest of the troops to the liver to make sure the body stays clean from inside. And so it's always functioning normally. But the skin, well, what about skin, right? It's kind of well, your job is just to protect you from outside environment toxins. You know what? I'll regenerate you every 30 to 60 days. I'll get you new skin cells all the time. So it's okay. You can handle the stress. And so we have a lot of oxidative stress on your skin, and then nobody wants to deal with it. Even the body doesn't want to deal with it all the time either. So we got to use something from external sources to try to figure out how can I reduce oxidative stress on my skin. By doing so, am I actually helping the skin stay nice, soft, functioning? Because it's not about looking good. Does it protect you from the skin is a barrier? Does it protect you from the outside sources getting inside your body? And that's what that. So my goal has always been: can I reduce oxidative stress in your skin? We talk about leaky gut syndrome all the time. That hey, whatever your foods, whatever the diet that you're having, if your body is not absorbing every single thing because the gut lining is impermeable or it's just very leaky and doesn't get absorbed, hey, that's your skin too. The skin can get very leaky. And in fact, instead of staying nice and soft and being the barrier, is letting stuff go inside your skin through inside your body through your skin, and all of a sudden now the body's getting toxic. So can I close the gap? Can I close the gap and so that the skin gets tighter and does its job for us?
Many of our listeners or viewers might not be aware that the skin is the largest organ in the body.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
How do antioxidants play a role in protecting the skin from aging, and which antioxidants are the most effective?
So okay, so there's when you look at antioxidant systems, there's three systems that your body relies on. One is exogenous or outside the body sources of antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, products that we can consume to help the body reduce the oxidative stress or quench the free radicals, so to speak. So that's the outside sources. Internally, a body produces products like glutathione, tripeptide, CoQ10. And what it does is these are molecules that are actually physically quenching the free radicals, neutralizing the free radicals, and basically helping bodies stay safe. The third system that nobody talks about it is the enzymatic system, like superoxidase dismutase, SOD. People talk about SOD all the time. SOD is one of the enzymes. Then you have glutathione peroxidase enzyme. So there are enzymatic pathways that basically affects multi different systems and hopefully quench the free radicals and reduce oxidative stress down. All three are great. All three works in parallel. Outside sources is the least reliant, so to speak, because it doesn't give you the full benefit because you're not able to consume the antioxidants 24/7 every single day. So you have to rely on the body's natural production of glutathione or CoQ10 or the enzymatic process of SOD or glutathione peroxidase enzymes to basically keep on helping producing all these antioxidants products to help our body.
And so glutathione is often referred to as the master antioxidant. Can you explain what its role is in the body and how it benefits skin health?
The term master of antioxidant is because it is by far the largest amount of molecule produced in human body. And it's the mother of all antioxidants because what it really does is glutathione actually in the process of antioxidant benefits or quenching the free radicals, it doesn't get destroyed. It gets oxidized. Oxidized glutathione stays stable inside your blood, inside your body, and with the right conditions like exposure to sunlight or quenching all the energy from vitamin C or vitamin E, it can revive itself and become the antioxidant again. So it basically the body has some sort of recycling method of recycling glutathione inside our body to keep on doing its work over and over and over again. That's why it's called the mother of all antioxidants. It's a very simple tripeptide, And the reason the glutathione is by far the best antioxidant we produce is because glutathione has two purposes. One is antioxidant purposes, but the other issue that nobody talks about is what causes oxidative stress is the excess of toxins inside the body. The glutathione also helps reduce the toxic load inside the body through the liver. By doing so, the endogenous production of oxidative stress or coming from chemical reactions or protein synthesis or there's so many reactions, there's thousands and thousands of reactions happening every second. The byproduct of all these reactions is also some sort of free radicals that has to be quenched. Detoxification is a major function in our body to get for the body to stay clean, and glutathione aids in all these processes. One molecule does a job of so many different things. If you don't call it the mother of all antioxidants, I don't know what we call it.
It's interesting because you talk about it being replenished, restored. And I've heard glutathione a lot more in regards to liver health and drinking alcohol. That's where it's getting a lot of its press lately. Is it possible to overload our systems to where its function is diminished because we are putting so much crap into our bodies through processed foods, alcohol consumption, and other things that might diminish some of its viability in the body?
It does not diminish the viability, but what it does, it diminishes the concentration of glutathione inside the body. And glutathione is very important for us. And if the body is trying to deal with inappropriate foods that we eat or drink, then it's taken away from helping us reduce oxidative stress in the brain, right? When you say that, hey, when I consume alcohol, my head's not thinking correctly, because guess what? Your brain consumes 20% of all the oxygen you breathe in, and yet it's only 2% of the total body weight. So the highest amount of oxidative stress you have is in your brain. When you have alcohol in your system, where the glutathione is supposed to be dealing with brain detoxification or antioxidant properties, is dealing with the liver to get rid of the alcohol. And so all of a sudden, the brain is not getting this. So now you have a brain fog or not thinking correctly. It does not diminish the functions of glutathione, but it uses up all of the reserves. The body cannot produce fast enough. When you're young, in your 20s, you can drink like a fish and wake up the next morning, and you're back to normal. Maybe get a cup of coffee and nothing happened to you. But when you start getting 30, all of a sudden, you know what? Maybe Friday night, maybe, right? And so one day, can you please spare my liver for the rest of the week? And when you turn to my age at 50, no, God, no. I don't want to have any alcohol if at all possible. Maybe I'll drink once a month at special occasions, but normally no, because I know how it feels. I can't sleep properly. My HRV starts getting low. I don't function properly. So there's no need for that. So foods, alcohols is actually diminishing, is reducing the concentration of glutathione and not diminishing the role of it.
Okay. You answered a question I had about sleep and HRV, or heart rate variability. And so that's interesting. And it kind of underscores that role of glutathione. So you've
Yeah.
developed a transdermal delivery system for glutathione. How does this method work, and what makes it more effective than oral or intravenous methods?
So before I answer that question, you asked me a question earlier about too much glutathione or what could happen to that. So if you consume glutathione from any of the sources available as of today, except for the one we have developed, your body will break it down, absorbs all the amino acids, and produce glutathione from there. That means there is no toxicity associated with glutathione. In fact, glutathione has a GRAS status by FDA, which is called generally regarded as safe, GRAS, when it consumed orally. So people can take all the oral glutathione in the world and nothing would happen to them, in the sense that you cannot overload or saturate the body with glutathione. So going back to the technology that we developed, it happens to be a solution, but we did not plan to be a topical version. And why did we do a topical version? We had no choice. We follow the science. Original plan was to make this thing oral drops, right? Because our goal was to stabilize glutathione. When we stabilize the glutathione, I said, okay, great. Now we have a solution. What do we do? squirt in your nose, put it in your mouth, it tastes awful. The levels did not rise. So I squirted in the nose, it burned my nose off, but the levels did rise a little bit, but nobody's going to put a burning product inside your nose, maybe for a day at the most, but not twice a day, every day for the rest of your life. And so we had to figure out a different technology to see, can we get through your skin? So this is the first technology that we have developed to actually get glutathione through your skin as a peptide. There's no other peptides can get through your skin anyway. So this is the first technology to get through your skin as a peptide. Uh, and your body absorbs it correctly. Now, depending on who you talk to and how educated our audience is, just to let you know, our body does not take foods and absorb into the cells by itself. The body has to break it down into various amino acids, like the building blocks, absorbs the amino acids, and they have been used to build whatever it needs inside the body. That means your body has no receptors to accept food as is inside your body. So that's a very big statement I just made right now, because people always think that, hey, if I eat a broccoli, the nutrients is getting inside my body and it's going to be good for my body. No, the body's going to break it down. And if your body cannot break it down, the broccoli is in and out without doing anything to your body. So breaking down process, having the right acids in your stomach, having all the enzymes in your stomach to basically make the proteins in long chain, chop it off, and then absorb it is very necessary. So we have a technology for the very first time that actually bypasses all the chopping off and all those things and get straight into your cells. And by doing so, we can only work with molecules that are actually being produced inside the body. We cannot take a molecule like broccoli has sulforaphane, which is not consumes the body doesn't produce that chemical. I cannot shove it inside your cell, that molecule, because the body will say, whoa, what is this? We didn't produce this. It can have a profound negative impact on your body. So we had to create something natural to the body, and so we did so by. And when we did that part, we can get away with a very low amount of glutathione to a very profound impact on your body. Most people, they inject glutathione anywhere from 1 to 2 grams of IV push to all the patients. I mean, there are IV hydration bars all over the country. Infusing so much glutathione, the body does not even absorb one of it. The body doesn't. The body just goes in your bloodstream, stays in the plasma. Your kidney filters the plasma out within 5 to 15 minutes, and every glutathione molecules is in the urine. So you're not absorbing anything. It still works because it takes a while for your bladder to empty out, because maybe you go pee 3 times a day. The rest of the time, it's still in the bladder. The body is actually breaking down the glutathione inside the bladder, and the cysteine is actually getting reabsorbed into the walls of the bladder. So what we see an hour and a half, 2 or 3 hours later, there's a spike of the cysteine, which is one of the amino acids in the glutathione. We see a rise in the bloodstream, and all of a sudden, it's been used to produce glutathione. So as a pharmacist, as a scientist, I said, wait a second. I took glutathione, it's in the urine, the body broke it down, absorbed the cysteine. Cysteine is getting used with the glutathione, so it still works. The glutathione did work, not because it absorbed it, but it used the cysteine from the glutathione to make its own glutathione internally. So our body is actually what we call a rate limiting step, or basically the gatekeeper of how much it's going to produce. You can inject, I don't care how much you want to inject. The body's going to just take whatever it needs to produce its own glutathione. Now that we have the technology that I can bypass all those things and get into the cells, I had to do, now there goes my 13 years of studies that I did. I had to figure out how much to give, how often to give, how long do I have to give it to you to get the results I'm looking for. That took me 13 years of studies to figure that portion out. That's why we couldn't launch the product to the open public until I have all my studies being done correctly. So anyway, so this is the first technology we have developed to deliver glutathione. We can use the same technology to deliver something like CoQ10, other molecules the body produces like SOD. That'd be fantastic. All this in the research phase right now. Nothing is available as of yet. But yeah, there's a possibility that we can deliver small peptides that the body produces, like the GHK copper. This is amazing peptides, great for your skin. We have this already developed at this point, but we haven't launched the product yet because we're still getting some of the studies done to make sure patients feel good with it. So anyway, so that's where my studies lies. I try to go the route of what the body needs first, and then figure out, okay, can I get this made using this technology?
That's really interesting. How do free radicals accelerate the aging process? And what role does glutathione play in neutralizing those?
So this theory has gone on forever, right? Aging, the reason we age faster is because of the oxidative stress we have on the body. By the way, who has zero oxidative stress? People in the grave. That's it. Nobody else. If you're alive and kicking, you have oxidative stress. And that stress is always going to be there. If the stress is zero, that's really bad for the body. So the key is, can I keep the oxidative stress low enough, but not zero, not turn it off? It's low. Too much, you start having effects on your gene mutations, DNA lesions, all this. So all the theories about aging starts from two things: endogenous production of oxidative stress, which is the chemical reactions happening inside the body, that's splitting out all those free radicals, which is both oxygen as well as nitrogen free radicals. Exposure to sun chemicals that are actually also increasing oxidative stress. That thing will lead to almost what? Now they have 15 different things that they've identified, from genomic instability to lack of protein synthesis to having gene mutations, reducing autophagy, which is killing all the dead cells and getting rid of them from the body. There's 15 things that have been identified already. This was introduced last year at the summit in Copenhagen, Denmark, about at the longevity summit. They talk about the same exact thing. How can we reduce those 15 things? Those 15 things are band-aids. You cannot fix them. If you go one step above that one, it causes DNA lesions. And if you go one step above DNA lesions, it causes oxidative stress. Folks, there's nothing magic about this. Oxidative stress is linked to 80% of all diseases known to mankind at this point. It could be very well be over 95%. But I say 80% because nobody can ever refute that answer to me. So the key has always been, how can I reduce oxidative stress? The body produces enzymes and a product called glutathione. The key has always been, how can I improve glutathione levels? 140 years that we have known about glutathione, and 140 years of countless billions of dollars or trillions of dollars has been used to research, try to figure out how can we improve the levels. And out of all the things that we have done, FDA has only approved one product called NAC, or N-acetylcysteine. The brand name is Mucomyst. Is the only drug that has been approved by FDA to increase glutathione levels. And the reason you talked about earlier that, hey, it's getting a lot of press about drug-induced or alcohol-induced glutathione deficiency is because NAC has been, for the last few years, has been touted by FDA as, hey, take it off the shelf because we already have FDA-approved product on the market. And if you're claiming that, hey, this thing can sober you up, you're violating FDA rules, so take it off the shelf. NAC has been used to produce glutathione. The issue is that by giving them NAC, you're actually depending on your body's ability to produce glutathione. What if you have a gene defect that you cannot conjugate and produce your own glutathione? What if that happens then? So if that happens, we said all these young kids with the spectrum disorder, autism on one end, Asperger on the other end, not all of them have glutathione deficiency, but they may have some gene mutation that they cannot produce enough of the detoxification products, or the pathway has been somewhat shunted and you cannot detoxify. So the body is in oxidative stress mode, and now you go, and it's all haywire. Reducing oxidative stress can literally get them better focus and better comprehend with what's going on. The same kid, let's say if a normal kid like you and me, We go through by age, and later on, because of mutations, we have not blocked off completely all these pathways, but we have somehow diminished in our ability to produce glutathione. We can take all the NAC in the world. Our body's not going to be able to produce the true amount we need. And by the way, as we get older, we are not going to let go of modern day conveniences. We are not going to let go those electric cars or the gas cars, or for that matters, in living indoors 80% of 90% of your life and not going outside in the sun and enjoying life that way. We are not going to let go of any of those conveniences, right? And because of that, our need for reducing oxidative stress is all-time high. It is never going to reduce. But your body's ability to produce glutathione is going to diminish every 10 years. It's going to keep on going down and down and down. So we need this oxidative stress reduced. And I can give you one example. As we had an 80-year-old person, type 2 diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, oxidative stress was high, and we were able to reverse his oxidative stress down within 3 years. He was free of diabetes, he's free of arthritis, free of blood pressures, walking 6 miles per day, and literally at the age of 89, he was walking down a street, tumbled on some stupid thing, fell down, broke his skull, and passed away.
Wow.
That's my dad. So even at the age of 80, we can reverse somebody's oxidative stress and make them feel like a human being again. For him to travel the world by himself, pick up the suitcase and just leave at the age of 89, how many of us can even think of doing that, right? So what I'm trying to say is oxidative stress is, I've seen it firsthand. I do it all the time in my patients. And when people ask me, I say, hey, is glutathione, what is it good for? Right? I know that's going to be one of your questions. I don't know how it's going to help you, because oxidative stress is linked to 1,000 different conditions. I have no idea what it's going to help you, right? And so all we tell is use it for 30 days, 60 days, improve the glutathione levels, and see how you feel. I can assure you that if you have high oxidative stress and have cause issues, it won't take you more than 30 days to figure out, say, oh my God, this is really good.
So it almost feels like it can help create, I don't know if it's the right phrasing, the creator to avoid that chicken or the egg question in terms of inactivity, longevity. If you are able to improve your longevity by being more active, and you can be more active because you have better glutathione levels and you're going to combat some of these antioxidants a little bit more effectively. Is that kind of the case? Or am I rambling here?
So we always talk about longevity, right? So if you look at the longevity drug, I can tell you one drug that has increased the lifespan by crazy amount. The highest lifespan ever increased by any drug in the world is penicillin, right? Because of penicillin, the life expectancy went from 40, 45 years of age to almost 65, 70 years of age. But I would not take penicillin every single day of my life, right?
Right.
People in the 40s were dying off of infections. And so penicillin was discovered, and we found out that, oh my God, that one product can actually increase the lifespan by 30 years. But what we learn from that is what? Our body can live for a long time on its own. What we have to do is strengthen the body from inside to deal with these problems, right? Penicillin was dealing the problems for the body, but if I can empower my own body to deal with this, guess what? It can fight any infections, any damage to the body, and it can self heal itself. So, the reason I say that is because we did a clinical trial on glutathione for 3 days. And what we found out was in 3 days, the body's own immune system went up sky high, right? We measured all the cytokines like IL-2, IL-12, interferon gamma, TNF alpha, tumor necrosis factor alpha. We measure all those markers which are supposed to get activated if you have problems, inflammation, infections, things like that. And the reason we were measuring that is because what we did was we took the blood, we infected the blood with mycobacterium infection. There's no cure for mycobacterium infection today. Then we put the glutathione and we see that the body was actually improving the own cytokines by itself to the point that within 1 hour of exposure to the mycobacterium, the load of mycobacterium went down. Glutathione is not an antibacterial. It's not antiviral. It's not an anti-infective drug at all. All it did was what? Strengthen your own immune system to deal with this problem. Folks, we cannot deal with all the problems of our body. By the way, we don't even know 95% of all the problems that we have in our body in the first place, right? Only thing we can do is strengthen the body to deal with its own problems. And one molecule that comes over and over and over again has been glutathione. It's my mission in life, my journey is that, hey, if you're going to age well, you better have glutathione levels optimized. And there's ways to do that besides taking supplementation. And there's a diet. There's other things you can do to increase the glutathione levels, and is by far the best aging well drug that I can think of that can help us the most. Now, longevity is nothing more than having a better health span, right? How can I stay until the age of 9, like my dad, until the age of 89? He was walking, literally walking on the strips at the ocean in India. He had no idea he was going to pass away tomorrow. He had no idea. He was enjoying life, and boom, fell down, broke his skull, and was gone. I take it so lightly. At that time, when we were devastated, we thought he was going to outlive all of us. Uh, but then we figured out that, hey, his time was up, and his time was at that time. And the good thing is that he didn't even suffer one day. He didn't have to do anything with it. He never was in a nursing home. He was in the best place. He was at the beach, at his house in India. He was enjoying life. And the next thing was he was called up and they said, hey, I'm here. So I hope we can all pray for that one day.
We talk about the 4 ages of life. First age is that age of dependency. Second age is that age where you're now independent, you're starting your family, you're developing your careers, you're developing kind of hopefully the finances that'll lead into your retirement years, or that third age. And then fourth age is that age of decline and decrepitude. And ideally, that fourth age should be a matter of seconds, minutes at the most. But we see people in that fourth age for a much, much longer period of time. And that's not the most pleasant, to be sick and declining constantly. The way your father went, we would think that's premature because we want to see our folks live much longer. But that's kind of the way to go. You're living well, and then time is up.
I hope that happens to all of us one day. Not that we will die, but that until the last day, we are completely independent, enjoying life, living life to the fullest, right? And my dad, even before he went to the trip, he says that, hey, you know what? I've accomplished everything I want to accomplish in my life. And now only thing that I want to do next in my next phase is to have a spiritual growth, have ultimate faith in what I do, and everything that everybody I talk to, everything I touch, everything I feel is going to enlighten that person or object. And that was his ultimate goal. So he was such a spiritual person that only thing he can do was to spread the good wealth, which is knowledge, right? And he always used to tell us that old age is not easy, but you can make it easy if you cut all your bad habits out. And he was such a big believer in having healthy habits. If you focus on good habits, then you don't have time to think about bad habits.
That is aging well,
That's
according
aging
to
well.
our definition. And that could take us away from what you're really here to talk about, which is,
Yeah.
skincare and health and
Okay.
glutathione. I'm going to get us back on that track so that we don't go
Thank
off.
you.
And I really want to go, not that I don't want to go down the glutathione path, but that's the trouble on this podcast. And when I interview people, people's stories start taking us in directions that are, so enlightening in regards to aging. The temptation is to go down that path, but I got to always keep myself focused and say, okay, this is a path we're supposed to be taking. So back on track. What
Yes.
are components of an anti-aging skincare regimen? How can glutathione be implemented or integrated into that?
So, skincare, the most thing that skin needs is hydration. And you cannot pour water on your skin. You have to drink the water and have it hydration from inside out. And so I always tell, if you want to have a healthy skin, please drink plenty of water. Hydration, hydration, hydration is the key to every single thing. Then the next part is avoiding chemicals that you touch because your skin comes into contact with all these chemicals. Exposure to toxic air. There are a lot of gases in the air that can be toxic to your skin and detrimental to your skin structure. Avoiding direct sunlight for certain periods is definitely a good idea. I'm not a big fan of sunblock and sunscreen, even though I recommend to my patients all the time. I do believe in covering the body, the skin with some clothing is much cheaper, easier, healthier than to put something on your face or your arms or your body that can actually be toxic to the liver sometimes. So having those few good habits are great, but then having a skincare routine that is actually replenishing those all those antioxidants is going to be the key. So when I created my skincare, I didn't want to create a whole line of products that, hey, use my washer, use my toner, use this, use that. I said, you know what? People are out there who makes great washes, great toners. Go ahead and use it if you want to, not a big deal. My thing starts off with have a clean skin in the morning, then the clean skin, you first thing you put on is an antioxidant serum, which is just vitamin C because I don't want to put glutathione in the morning. I put vitamin C serum. And with that, I want to add CoQ10, carnosine, some other chemicals that are actually regenerating the antioxidant benefits as the time goes by. When I do that part, it is only applied in the face, of course. The rest of the body is hopefully is covered up. And by doing so, I'm giving the body the chance to basically nullify or neutralize all the free radicals that have been produced on an ongoing basis. Now, no matter what happens, you're always going to produce more than body can neutralize, or the chemical that you put in your face or the antioxidant put you in your face, it's going to slowly kind of levels will go down over time. And so at nighttime, what I created was another thing was I added the glutathione serum, but more than that, the UV or the damage that caused to your skin to the DNA needs to be repaired, right? And so what my goal was to say, hey, can I give a skincare product that is actually helping the skin repair itself? And for that, I had to go back to my science and Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn, who was the Nobel Prize winner about talking about telomeres. I said, hey, telomeres is basically if I can increase the telomeres, that means the body, the human being is getting healthier and it can live for longer periods of time. My goal was that, hey, how about telomeres of your skin? So they were using a product called cycloestrogenol. It's an astragalus root extract to help increase that. But then they were using very high doses of this product to get the benefit of it. What in all the research they will tell you, in order for any of the products to work to increase the telomeres, you have to actually reduce the oxidative stress down to bare minimum. Otherwise, nothing works. Nothing works. And so at the nighttime routine, what I did was I added the glutathione serum because I need to knock off the oxidative stress like immediately, right? So I added the glutathione serum and put a cream on top of it that includes cycloestrogenol and resveratrol to help the skin rejuvenate again. By doing so, it's a four product system, two serums and two creams, two in the morning, two in the evening, can replace everything that you have in your arsenal. And all it does is basically rise and revive. Revive your skin in the morning. You rise and revive your skin in the morning, and then in the evening you just basically reset and repair the skin at nighttime. And so by doing so day in day out, You only need to get one set. It will last you about 2 months. And if you don't see results, hey, we offer 100% money back guarantee on all the products we make.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we provide some links at the end of
Thank you.
the podcast and in the description that will link people to your product routines. In terms of aging prevention, when should individuals start incorporating antioxidants like glutathione into their skincare routine?
So instead of doing a skincare routine, like I have 3 kids, and I tell them all the time. I said you got to eat uh, antioxidant rich diet. If you have that, trust me, you won't need any skincare routine until you're 35 or 40 years of age. Even my young daughter, she's 16, and she'll use the skincare that I make for my wife. They just want something because it feels better for them. But I always say that any skincare product you use is not in place of the food you eat. So please have an antioxidant rich diet. I like all the berries. If you're going to eat the berries, please do not mix banana with it. Eat a banana separate, then the berries are separate. You cannot get the antioxidant benefits and have an oxidating agent like a banana to nullify the effects of antioxidants. And so, yeah, have a diet that is rich in antioxidants. Have a diet that is rich in cysteine. If you consume cysteine rich foods, if you're vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, doesn't really matter, herbivore, whatever diets you have, there every food genres or elements have cysteine component in there. Pick those foods. They'll help improve your glutathione levels in your body. Glutathione internally will do a far better job than any blueberries or raspberries they can do for you. So please have a cysteine-rich diet, have an antioxidant-rich diet that is going to do better than any skincare products.
Great. And I think we've addressed this already, but I want to refresh the viewers' memories on this. Are there any risks or side effects associated with long-term use of transdermal glutathione?
Actually, you did ask me this question. I forgot to answer that question. I was on a tangent, right? When you look at glutathione of every other form besides the topical version, has pretty much no side effects, no toxicities, nothing like that, because the body breaks it down and absorbs it correctly and uses that to produce its own glutathione. Now that this version that we have created is bypassing that, there's a potential of toxicity, right? There's a potential. That it took me 13 years to figure that portion out. As long as you use the recommended dose that we have on every package inserts that comes in, there should not be any concerns at all. Now, being said that, what if your body's toxic? And the body that you take glutathione, it doesn't matter if you put it on your face, on your arm, your body, it doesn't matter where you apply it, is going to, is because the body is holding onto all these toxic chemicals. As soon as it's glutathione, it's like, oh, you're here for rescue, just dumps inside your body. If it does that, you may have something called a detox reaction. The detox reactions could be a rash, very simple, itching where you apply it, or could be something like a mild headache or mild something in your stomach. It's like either you have a stomach cramps or diarrhea or something like that, because all the body's trying to do is just release all the toxins. If that ever happens to anybody, guess what? Slow it down to the bare minimum that you can use without having any concerns whatsoever. Folks, there are no gold medals for suffering and plowing through. We're not going to pat your back and say, oh, wow, you're such a good warrior. You plowed through the problems and still came out the other end. No, there are no gold medals for that. So please don't have to suffer through any single thing. Bring it down, have the go with what the body can tolerate and slowly increase back to the recommended dose. Once you do that, you should not have any concerns whatsoever.
What advancements do you foresee in the field of anti-aging skincare, particularly in the use of antioxidants?
I think when it comes to antioxidants, we have mastered the antioxidant system at this point. We have 7 patents approved worldwide to improve glutathione levels. The only thing I can work on next is to see if I can bring all the enzymes in the market. But the thing is, enzymes are very tricky because I had to figure out the concentrations that your body can tolerate. How often do I give? Is once a day enough? Do I have to give it twice a day, 3 times a day, every hour? I have no actually idea about all those things. So it takes a while to figure those portions out. A product like CoQ10 or glutathione is easier because we are able to measure those levels in the bloodstream, and we can figure out the variations. Those are much easier. Enzymes are a little bit more difficult, but difficult doesn't shy me away. So we are working on those right now as we speak. We do have a stable molecule in my lab already. We are working on that. Who knows, 25, 2026, a couple more years from now, we may have a product available for the consumers to use.
So, how important is it to tailor our anti-aging treatments to individual skin types and conditions? And can we kind of customize transdermal glutathione in this way?
So first of all, this is a topic of glutathione. Transdermal means it's going through your skin, into your bloodstream, all those things, and that's something that becomes is not a skincare product. It becomes a drug. So the topical version of glutathione is actually able to absorb very well to all the layers of the skin and get you all the benefits. One more time, what was the overarching question that you had?
How important is it to tailor our treatments
Individually.
to skin types and conditions?
And so that has always been my pet peeve, so to speak. Skin just an organ. Oh, I have an oily skin. I have a dry skin. I have this skin. I have that. I said, you know what? I don't care what kind of skin you have. The antioxidant benefits that every skin needs is identical to whatever your skin type is. So again, I may be making mad a lot of big companies out there by saying that skin type is a marketing plot. Honestly, I have 3 or 4 products that I make, and I have used on really severely oily skin. I've really used on dry skin, and people have asked me, "What I have this skin type? Is it going to work on that?" I said, "I have no idea. Use it for a couple of months. If you don't like it, we'll fully refund your money." I want people to just experience it for the first time, because I am not a skin type of a person to diagnose what skin type is. Requires different regimen, because most of our products are not oily. The serums are completely water-based products. The technology does not use your lipid layers to get inside your skin, so makes it extremely unique skincare product in the world that actually does not use your oil layers of your skin to get inside your body. So it doesn't matter.
What about added benefits to conditions like eczeama or psoriasis or other skin conditions people might have? Is there any benefit of glutathione?
Keep in mind, all those eczema, psoriasis, those lesions are coming from internally. So if you apply something topically that's not supposed to go internal, the question then becomes, how much is it really helping you? So I normally suggest for those people is to have, we have 2 different lines. We have a wellness product for the glutathione, which works internally. Use that product to help strengthen your own immune system from inside. And once you strengthen your own immune system, if any of this autoimmune condition is because the body is not able to detoxify or get rid of it, by having glutathione, having the emanations, and if the body can do that part, the lesions on your skin literally goes away pretty fast. It doesn't go for everybody. So we don't know what the cause is. But if the cause is one of the known toxins that your body can get rid of with the help of glutathione, it'll be a miracle for those people.
And so, how do environmental factors like pollution, UV, radiation, how do all those impact skin aging? And again, how can glutathione help mitigate some of these effects?
Those are very, very easy, right? We see visible differences in skin. People that have overexposure to UV and sun and pollution, they have spots, this of your skin, premature aging of your skin, and things like that. Having glutathione on board, literally, visibly, you'll see the difference in somebody's skin within 2 months. That's how fast it's supposed to work, because skin regenerates pretty fast. A damaged skin that has been there for decades sometimes takes a little bit longer, but within a couple of months, you will visibly see the change. You as an individual may not see the change immediately because you're seeing your face probably two, 3 times a day, so you don't see the changes. But your friends that may not have seen you for 2 months will see, oh my God, what did you do with your face? Right? I said, oh, nothing. I didn't see any differences yet. But yeah, so they will notice a difference pretty fast. So those are visible changes that you can see. What you do not see is the skin. When you improve the antioxidant benefits of your body, the skin itself, as an organ, is getting healthier, right? Those changes are not visibly seen by your naked eyes. And so that's the hard part, right? I was being interviewed yesterday on somebody else's event, and they were looking at my skin. I said, "Oh boy, how old are you? Man, your skin is so good." I said, "Because I even put my face product on my arm sometimes. Actually, not so, I probably put it every day because you know what, my arms are always exposed, and so I want to put on my arms as well the same products. But yeah, the skin gets healthier, and that's what we want. It's not that we want to look younger and prettier. That's a byproduct. I want the skin to be healthy.
Because a healthy skin, healthy body, right?
That's it. Keep the bugs out. Don't let them in.
Yeah, I teach a pathophysiology and exercise class, and we talk about the barriers to pathogens and the skin being one of the first barriers to anything getting into our bodies. So, yeah, healthy skin is going to be healthier body.
Oh, so that's why you understand what leaky gut is, right? That's a
Yeah.
big problem. It's a huge problem right now. And we always deal with how do you heal the gut? Fine, right? How do you heal the skin? It's visible.
So, you've already mentioned diet. What other practical advice do you have for our listeners who are looking to maintain youthful, healthy skin as they age?
Hmm. I always believed in one thing: less is more. The key has always been, how do I use less products or no products and have a better outcomes, right? And so that's always been my go-to. We lather on a lot of chemicals. Also a pharmacist. I do have a pharmacy, but you won't see me working behind the counter. You'll see me in my office talking to somebody, helping them design drug plans. Being a pharmacist, and we do compounding as well, so we do a lot of medications. We make a lot of skincare products for consumers with harsh chemicals like retinols, retinoic acids, azelaic acids, kojic acids, hydroquinones. Oh my God. Temporarily, they look good. But in the long term, whew, I don't have time to educate every single human being that's out there, right? That's why we need people like you to spread this word and educate the people and say, hey, less is more. Please don't go to me as a pharmacist and tell me, hey, make me this medicine. Figure out other ways to keep your skin healthy. Diet, avoiding all the chemicals, avoiding sunlight, direct sunlight. 5 minutes a day is great, but then wear a hat or a cap or cover it up something. Do whatever it takes to reduce exposure to all these different things. I think that's better than anything that's out there.
So that's an unusual comment for, I wouldn't say for pharmacists, because I don't think it's the pharmacists that are necessarily pushing the drugs. We've often been telling people on the podcast lately, if you're taking multiple drugs, ask your pharmacist about the interactions between those drugs, because there's
Yes.
so many complications that can come from drug interactions that we just don't know about, and most physicians don't know about, but the pharmacists generally do. But I think it's kind of unusual for somebody who has a product line not to be wanting to expand that product line into more and more products, so that people are buying countless different items for this and for that. And you have to have, like, my daughter, I don't know how many different skincare products she has, and I'm going to make sure she watches this podcast to kind of get her off of some of them. She's 16, like your daughter.
Yeah,
You know,
so my
there's
daughter does not use many of the products, but guess what? When she has, 6 years old, acne will come up, right? Eating habits are not very good. Plus, she's in the color guard team, so she's in the sun almost 3 to 4 hours a day, and her skin gets destroyed, right? And what she will do, she'll come to my room, go to my wife's medicine chest. There's a glutathione bottle over there, and she'll put it on her face. And by the morning, all those pimples, all those things are kind of gone. But
Wow.
it doesn't use it every day, but whenever she's at, and my wife tells her, use this every day with that after the sun exposure, just apply it and then go take a shower in 15 minutes. It's okay. But use it every single day because there's too much UV damage that's happening. And the faster I can control it at the age of 16, I have a longevity for her skin when she turns 30 and 35. So yeah, so she does use it, but not every day, even though we tell her to do it, because it has a funky odor to it, right? It's sticky, it's odor. The kids are like, I don't like that odor. So, you know, it is what it is.
I I work strength and conditioning with our local wrestling team, and they've had increased amount of skin conditions in the past couple seasons. Would something like glutathione treatment be a benefit in terms of minimizing risks of contracting a staph infection or things like that from
Yes,
mats?
oh, absolutely. Most of the skin conditions are probably viral. It's usually the viruses. The question is, first of all, how old are the kids?
They'd be freshmen through senior in high school, so they're probably 14 through maybe 18.
So the body can produce enough glutathione until the age of 30. Check the diet first. See if we can
Okay.
improve the diet and give them cysteine rich foods. If we can do that part, the body will make their own glutathione and they're fine. But if they get skin conditions and have acute problems, they can use the glutathione for like 2 days or so. Once the problem goes away, stop it. Don't use it for long term because you don't want the body to not make its own if at all possible. Plus, we don't want to teach the kids that, hey, for every problem, I have a solution. If you
Right.
teach the kids in the good habits, we have to let them suffer for a few days. And that's when they, oh, you know what? This is not good. What do I do again, coach? And then they will do it again over and over again. And hopefully, in the meantime, have them get better with the product so they can feel, oh, this is something I can do on my own. You don't have to buy this product. You can just eat this diet and you'll never have this problem ever again. Hopefully, they'll listen to that portion.
Priority would be proper hygiene and proper diet. And if there's an outbreak, then maybe step it up a little bit with the glutathione.
Just for
Yeah.
2 days, you use it every 4 hours for 2 days, they're fine.
My son does MMA, and he's had a couple small cases,
Yep, it's the
and
same thing.
he's very, regimented about his diet. I'm sure the facility tends to be very good about keeping everything clean and everything else. And so, he's had a couple times where it's been getting close to fight time and something breaks out, and he gets really worried if he gets something before a fight that it's going to prevent him from being able to compete.
Yep, as a pharmacist, I've been there. I've been to MMA fights. I used to do IV therapies for those fighters with Myers cocktails and things like that. I have a lot of fighters as patients as well. They are inadvertently on a lot of glutathione because the oxygen carrying capacity needs to be improved as well for those fighters. And so, yeah, the inflammation is like is next to none, right? It's just so much inflammation they have. So they need to quench all the free radicals, bring the inflammation down. So glutathione is actually very, very beneficial on all these athletes. It work with NFL athletes and NBA athletes and Major League Baseballs, Olympic athletes, hockey players. And the workout regimen is so treacherous that they have oxidative stress is very, very high. And so they can only work out if they can recover. And so it's not about the working out, it's about the recovery. And so having a glutathione on board on the recovery time, as soon as you're done working out, people put on the glutathione, quench all the free radicals, recover faster so they can work out again tomorrow. It's a game changer. But they cannot apply it every single day if they're not working out.
It goes back to boosting that sleep and the HRV as well.
Right.
So,
That is right.
cool. All right. I'm now at the question I ask of all my guests. What are you doing personally to age well besides skincare?
My go-to thing is, first of all, how do I get my oxidative stress in my brain low enough? Right? I do a lot of mindful meditation, conscious breathing. We all breathe, but conscious breathing. So right before we met today, I had to take a 2 minutes time off and literally get in my chair, close my eyes, and just do breathing. Right? Deep breaths, deep breathe out, because it will calm all my nerves down. My focus gets better. Even then, you threw me off on a couple of tangents. I went on a couple of tangents already. But if I did not do that part, I'll be all over the place. So I have to do that part on a daily basis, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, depending on what work I have to do. But meditation is the single most important thing that I can tell every human being on this planet. If you do that part, and if you can bring all your brain under control, also stress under control in your brain, the body, your whole body just functions so much better. So if I can tell one piece of advice for everybody, which I don't give advisors, I can only tell them what I do, is single most important thing that has helped me in my career for the last 30, 40 years is meditation.
Great. That mindfulness is another big topic that keeps coming up a lot on the podcast in terms of aging. Well, this has been a very informative conversation. I feel like we could keep going on. There's so much more I can learn. But is there anything we've missed? Anything that you kind of want to add that you were kind of chopping at the bits as you were kind of doing your pre-interview meditation? It's like, I want him to ask me this question and this is how I'm going to answer it. Anything we missed?
I think you were very good at bringing me back on track. I did go on tangent a couple of times, but you brought me back on track. So I think we covered most of the things. My overarching goal was to let people know that products are not as good as your own body's own natural system, and that can be enhanced by just diet. Having a proper diet is my overarching goal for everybody. Yes, I make a product, and to make money, I sell a product, but that is secondary to having a proper diet.
Speaking of having a product, we want to make sure that listeners can become more aware of that. We haven't mentioned Oro Skincare other than in the introduction. How can a listener connect with you, learn more about you, learn more about Oro Skincare? Is there a website? Is there social media?
We have auroskincare.com, AURO skincare.com. You had some couple of questions about psoriasis and eczema and things like that. For internal use of glutathione, we have orowellness.com. It's the same website. On the top left-hand corner, you can toggle between the two websites. So it doesn't have to be a separate website for that one. We have Instagram handles and all those things are available. So the best thing to do is to subscribe to my newsletter. I try really hard to basically bring new ways, new ideas, new ways to help you stay healthy. It's not always about the product, it's about staying healthy. Because I learned my lesson that if I want to live to 120 years of age, I want to take everybody that I care about with me. Because if I don't, then I'll be by myself, and I don't want to be by myself. I want everybody with me when I'm 120.
I'll be there. Well, actually, when you're 120, that would probably make me, you said you're what, 50?
53.
53. I'm 61, so I'd have to make it to about 130 to be with you at 120. So I'll work on it.
We'll do it.
But you probably won't be with me when you're 130. But that's my goal. I want to live as long as I can and as well as I can. This kind of information is very helpful. This has been a really informative discussion. I thank you. I wish you the best and keep aging well.
Thank you. Appreciate the time today.
Thank you for listening. I hope you benefited from today's podcast. And until next time, keep aging well.